Hello there, Frida Reba Darcy, and Patricia O'Connor here. It is the Bonsai Balcony, and it is our Thursday drop. Ooh, look at our cherry tree cuttings. They're continuing to push out the shoots that they were pushing out when I clipped them. I spray them several times a day like this, and I also pop a top on the bottle and dump a little bit more water in this pie tin, which doesn't have any irrigation holes, so it should hold the water as long as possible. I do the same thing with the first shoots I took, which are in my Darigold milk carton, and it is also continuing to put out shoots, although they're in the sunlight and they look like they I worry about them drying out more, but I do keep them misted. These are the ones that as per one of our viewers suggested that I try the a jar of water propagation, and I am worried that I haven't been changing the water enough, although I think I have. It still looks like they're getting a little bit of I don't know, whatever it is, fungus growing on them or something. I worry about that. I wonder if perhaps I shouldn't put maybe a drop of peroxide in there so that we won't have some fungal issue. And I worry about that because I don't know if you can see them, but I'm actually starting to see a couple of roots trying to poke out. So this will work, I think, if we are not intervened by a little bit of fungus, which is one thing that you do have to watch out for. I do know that some guys before that I've watched at making clones were talking about that they would root them with a little bit of peroxide in the water, which I just thought would have been counterproductive. So I'm reluctant to try that now, although I might ought to Google that and see if I might be a way out of that. I just see a little bit of cloudy matter forming on some of the branch structures down there. I think you can see it too. This webby looking stuff. I don't think that's great. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I don't think that's good. I think that would probably have an effect on our progress. Otherwise, I am encouraged by seeing little bumps and shoots. At first, I thought they might have been more of those little shoots pushing out, but having looked at them for a couple of days, they look more like they're trying to go down to me, the ones that I looked at, and so that's encouraging. My little dog likes to hang out there in the sunshine. It is a kind of overcast, kind of hazy, kind of blue. It's just starting to warm up. Maybe this is going to burn off because it was cloudier than this, and it also looked a little bit wetter than this when I got up. Although I think it was probably a fog rolling through. I don't believe we had any rain, because normally I can see the rain on the needles of the pine trees, and everything just seems to be pushing out really nice. I watered. Everybody took in. The other reason I knew it hadn't rained is everybody took in quite a bit of water. I think the breeze, it's been a little breezy for the last couple of days, and so it's probably upped our water intake, and it started off cool, although it is starting to warm up now. I think you guys can see what I'm showing you here. I'm not really going on about it. I'm just kind of showing you that we are seeing just a ton of growth. And whereas most of these new shoots would be like that kind of really bright green, a lot of it is sort of a drab ormy green that is indicative of that little cold spell we had just as everything started busting out. And that's a little much. I'm reluctant. Now, earlier and frequently here lately, and well, I don't know, maybe over the last year now, I guess, I've been talking about how I'm going to be less heavy-handed with my pruners. We're going to allow all the things that are growing out to grow out and make their leaves and make their panels and exchange that energy from the energy out in the universe to the energy in the leaves that the plant then stores. So we're just going to encourage it to do more and more of that, and we're not going to go through and just try to constantly reshape our trees that are not just constantly try to reshape our trees 24/7. We're going to let them have their energy, and then at other times we will at the proper times we will bring them back. So to that end, there are a few times when something comes popping out, you still got to say, oh no, not you, not now, don't even think about it. And some of those times are like if you have more than one shoot coming out in one spot. If I were to let that go until fall, that would be a huge knotted mess on that part of the tree. That would just make a huge spot, right? So to that end, we have new leaders to pick out. And this morning, before I went on camera, I did a chop. I did a chop right here because this had been flush cut right across, and there's no taper in that. But after that flush cut, all of these shoots came out. This is our new leader. I would wire it, but it's doing exactly what we want it to do by itself, and it's fragile, so I don't have to wire it right now. I can let it go a couple of weeks and harden up a little bit more, but as long as it's continuing to go in the direction that we wanted it to go, the call of action on that was to chop it back this way to give us our little angled cut. And in so doing, I believe that would have been, let's see if I'm showing you that, would have been that chop. And that would have been the one branch that went with. So you can see there is a branch connected to another little tapered chop. That one was right there. Did I put putty on that? I did. I could put some more. Then now they've got their, now they both have their cut paste on them. Now, here's something that I should think about, and this was the chosen one, because whenever I made that flush cut right there, this came out so close to the top there that I'm like, yeah, that is just in the right place to be just exactly what we needed, just exactly when we needed it. However, the tree kind of had other ideas. A 1/4 of an inch down, this wasn't even the second limb, it was the 4th, because whenever I made that cut, I cut off one above it that I think went this way. I just showed it to you. So 3, let's see, this one, the one that came over here that I just chopped off a little while ago, and then this one, which would have been the 4th branch. But look at it, it's way thicker. It's way thicker than the others. Also, I've got this bicycle handlebar thing happening right here. And even going down here, going down farther, you have to go farther down the tree and you won't see anything as thick as that. The tree really thought this was going to be the leader. So this was trying to go kind of up over here, going up towards those lights. Not straight, but that's where all the oxen is. And so I did that chop and I threw a light wire on it. I'm calling this a light wire because, as you can see, it's not on there very tight. It's just a little bit of a light influence to tell this to continue to go up and not to lean over, and also to pull that down. There's another way to pull these branches down, and I have seen other cypress tree growers do it before, and it's called cracking them. I'm not going to do that anymore. I have tried that in the past, and I'm not crazy about the look. It you basically could take this, if I wanted to slow this limb down because it's so much fatter than the rest. There's several ways out of this. One, I could bend it down until the top of this layer up here kind of breaks, but all the layer below it survives, and then take my finger off of it. And at that point, I wouldn't really have to wire it. It would naturally on its own lay in the position that you see it now. And it would also stunt its growth and slow that branch down considerably. And during that time, you would see a mound of growth around the base where all of the things that were going to push their way through the trunk and go out to that limb just got cut off at the pass by that broken tissue. That will tend to make a big knot there. So I've done that before, and I've even demonstrated them before, and then having seen the results a few months later, I'm never as happy with those limbs. I would say that to that end, wiring them to get them started, especially when they're your foundation limbs, because in the end, we're going to cut this back and then let it bifurcate out. So it's not going to be this long, and it can be a little thick because it's what comes out after it. That's what's going to be the tail on that, on what stays and what's the biggest problem here that can't be rectified is that your basic bicycle handlebar. We've got two limbs going right across from one another straight out, and I would say that between those two limbs, this one is the easiest to replace also, because we've got all of these other limbs filling out anything that we want to go out here in this area. But on this side, there's not as much. It could be that one who wanted to cut this. So that is something to consider. The what I'm kind of just talking around in circles about is, in the end, we do want the tree to push out all the foliage that it can at this time of year. We want all that stuff to extend. We want all this energy to work its way up to fatten out all of this stuff. We have all of this taper to create, and all of this growth and all of this stuff pushing upward is exactly how we do that. However, we aren't going to want to break all the other rules, like with handlebars. That is a typical no. Also, that would be 1, 2, 3, and it's the proximity to here to there almost makes that what you call a windmill effect, where you have just like spokes, top, bottom, left, right, just a whirlwind of branches. So there are all kind of reasons why to shape and reshape this stuff. But in the end, that's just a little bit. We also have our reasons to let it go. The best reason to let that go on that branch, even though it's handlebars, is because this is all sacrifice. This whole leader is currently going to be a sacrificed leader, just pulling energy up. And this, when it's big enough to take a wire, will be encouraged to go just where it's going, and that is going to be our new leader. And I'm not going to chop this. It's already pushing all the energy up just the way we want it. There's no reason to stop that. And throughout the summer, we'll encourage this. And when I don't know if I'm showing you because of the glare and the kickback I'm getting on the screen, but when that little leader that you can see, that little shoot comes up and starts to fatten out and get a base to it, that will clean up the taper on this side of the tree more than this will. This is bananoing out. The other question is how much of this, by the time this goes up, it starts getting up here and starts getting up here, and like what I call shifting into third, as they say. At what point do I chop this? If they start kind of fusing somewhere in here, maybe I cut it back here. But at some point, this gets chopped back in favor of that. And it won't be this spring, it won't be this summer. The way our falls work, it won't even be this fall. It'll be, I wouldn't do that until everything that we're keeping has hardened off, until all of our needles have dropped. I think at that point, that's when I would be looking at changing over our new leader on this half of the tree from this guy to that guy. And I've already talked about that in the past, but that's kind of one of the reasons why I'm not concerned with cleaning this up. I was concerned with cleaning this up, which I kind of started on this last fall, and then was kind of concerned that I might lose this little leader to dieback with the winter that was then coming. So I kind of thought it was a race. Little did I realize that we had almost nothing to worry about. The winter wasn't going to on its own kick anything back. So earlier I did that chop. I did put that wire on here to tell this not to go straight up so that I could bend it down somewhat. And I did poke that up so that it continued to do what it wants to do. But all the while, we know that a new treetop is on its way. Now what I didn't do is this one. And this is a good example of, we have all of these little shoots just prolifically coming out, and they are pretty, and they are just showing all of those different colors. As you can see, everything starts to come out kind of a maroon purplish look, and then as they come out that bright green. I think that's just absolutely gorgeous to look at. But you could also see that from our chop there, we have this one little piece of trunk here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. There's our windmill again. So on one end, we don't want to go cutting all that stuff off the tree. We want to allow stuff to grow this year. On the other hand, if we do not cut this back and cut this back off soon, we will find that we have a large knot right here. I'm not concerned about the large knot right there because I'm fairly confident in that. But if something happens to that leader, all of these 3 branches right here on this one will be my undoing for this leader, because this is going to form a big knot where I'll allow those to live. If I want one of these guys to be our new leader and start establishing some taper on this trunk as it stands now, then this will be a time for me to do what I've done here and what I've done there. That one, the work I did there, and the work I did there, as far as I know, that's keeper. We're going to continue on that path from now on. Also, this was the dominant leader between the two. See how much fatter that one is than this one? That's because I didn't get that shoot over a year ago when this started, and I did. That's why that one's smaller. Cutting this back this year will make the back of the tree of the twin towers, so to speak, the back one will be bigger, broader, and the front one will be a little narrower. I think that's just smart. It's accidental at this stage in the game, but it's a perk. It's like, well, do I want to give up all the girth of that front? No, yeah, I want the one in the back to have the most girth and the one in front to have slightly less girth so that you can see through it, whether it's pretty or full or whatever, you can see through it somewhat to see the one behind it, not the other way around. So that's a perk to that, and not something that I thought of before I kind of envisioned it after the fact, I guess. Sometimes you just like, that would be what I would consider practice, 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 and then you get lucky. So, which is the way that works. So what I'll probably do now is grab up some cutters. I haven't made a selection yet. I think as far as proximity to the top, this would be our leader as far as its proximity to the top. That one seems to be about the happiest, but it's a little further down, and in order to get taper chop from there, I would sacrifice this. Well, I'm going to sacrifice some of those guys anyway. We're just going to have to pick who gets to be king rat here. We are going to make this our new leader, and that will probably come at the expense of this. And this guy will get wired down, and our chop will go right there. And I will do it. I'll do it right now. Let's see. But with whom? Okay. I'll take the stainless guys here, and we'll go after that. This a hybrid. This is the hybrid cutter, I believe. That's. I don't always have all of my bonsai tools perfectly memorized, but I believe that would be my angled hybrid cutter. Got the little scoop. I'm going to try to remember to leave the blades closed until we get there, so we don't just, let's say, get in there. Okay. Okay. All right, I'm looking around to see what I've got and what I'm missing. Also, I'm not putting any pressure on these teeth, so if I see something I don't want to chomp, I haven't started cutting it yet. I think that's going to be, this is our here or go moment. Yeah. Boom. So that's got that, and so the next move, aside from clean up that chop a little, I've got a little bit, I don't know, I got a little bit, come on, focus, focus, focus. Got a little bit of cleanup to do there. I want to be able to do that without causing myself more issues. Do I have? I'm missing a pair. There they are. Pair feels really good in the old hand. So that's that. That is the exception to our rules about when we're going to let stuff go and let stuff not. So basically, I'm not going to allow 4 shoots to come out of an end for long enough to wreck the taper on the ends of branches. We'll go with our 2. We'll always go with our 2, and then we'll cut it back at there. We'll leave it at that. So yeah, that's what's got us there. I have been, quick check, continuing to water our our coastal redwood cones. No signs of life here or in the natural bed of these outside on the grounds where they would sprout if they were going to here as well. A little quick look at our other red cypress, our other bald cypress. I mean to say, it's continuing to shoot out and come out with stuff. Our little oak tree, I believe I'm finally starting to see some buds on it. I'm getting excited about that. Yeah, this bougainvillea is very, very, very close to red. I mean, it's just an absolutely brilliant, I guess purple, but yeah, it's just so close to a red. It's really pretty. And so yeah, that's looking really good, as are the little ponderosas. Here's another quick look at our Codaheim forest. It's so far so good on it. When I watered my oak tree earlier today, I saw a little bit of leaf curl on some of the lower branches. You see that? I see that on this. Like, you see that little bit of leaf curl there. That was some of the lower branches were doing that. And as it gets drier and runs out of water, it's like it's running out of hydraulics, and that works its way up the tree. So we gave everybody got a really good healthy water today, and they seem to be responding. They seem to be responding pretty well. This Chinese Wisteria sinensis is wasting no time getting down to business. I'm happy to see that the fertilizer that I put down, the BioGold, is breaking down on all of my trees. You can see some of it looks almost new, and that is because the original stuff I put down about 5 weeks ago is broken down, and now it's been replaced. So what that means is that when you water, you've got a proper amount of microbes coming into effect and breaking all the stuff down, and that's how that gets into your, and that's how that then gets into your tree. So that's why we do that. That's why it does that, and I'm glad to see it. This is the stuff that I put down recently, but you can see the other stuff is just like almost gone. That tells us that that all the little microbes are tearing that stuff apart, and then they're taking it down. They're basically the stomach of the of your trees. So that's how all that. So in all of my trees, I'm looking, and all that stuff is getting broken down just the way I would hope to see it. Even my Japanese black pine, that tells me that my mycorrhiza situation is okay with it after its repot and its treatment. That would be something that I would be concerned about. I've seen some of my other counterparts seem to have some brands of mycorrhiza that they have standing by for whenever they do their repot. I haven't done that yet. I need to probably get with the program some, and I'd even thought about going out to the pine trees and raking back their straw beds and harvesting some mycorrhiza, but after a little bit of thinking about it, I went, yeah, that's probably a good way to go, passing around some sort of pathogens that aren't going to be good for you. This is also the part where I probably should go through here and put a little cut paste on that guy. So yeah, this is the bougainvillea that was a trunk. I pruned back the trunk on my bougainvillea, and then I looked at the chop that I had just made and went, wow, that could have been possibly with a little bit more preparedness, a really pretty tree. I wasn't even thinking about that at the time. So I did put in some macadamia, and I keep it watered. We're just going to let it do whatever it's going to do. It is warm enough now for lick your finger so that doesn't stick to your finger, Pat. Okay, so that's that. We have got way too many shoots still coming out here this close. You can be it. You can go down. You can get wired down. You can get wired down. I do need to watch that though. Make sure I don't have that windmill thing happening on all these smaller branches, or they'll get big, huge, thick knuckles right there. And that was kind of what we were trying to get rid of. When I showed you those last, you could probably go back about a dozen videos and see where I did this chop. This tree was AWOL in shipping, and when it finally did come to me, it had spent probably a couple of weeks upside down in the box, and there was a crack in this branch, which continued to heal over, but it healed over and made a knuckle. And I'm like, that's not going to even out. It's just going to always be that knuckle right there. When the tree grows up, it'll grow up to be a bigger knuckle. So that's kind of why we selected a new leader, chopped that and went up. It's also just a good idea. It keeps the energy running as quickly as possible, and that's what you want to do, is just keep the energy going as quickly as possible. It's a series of chops up here that just keeps this constantly being, that keeps the tops constantly being remade and remanufactured, and all that energy going up there. It's going to create something with a little bit of a base to it. Not necessarily if you keep chopping it off like I do it, but that's not the part where we're trying to create taper. What I'm trying to do right now is giving up maybe just a little bit of time so I can get the leader coming up just exactly where I want it. And so yeah, that's Goddess. And it's a beautiful day out today. I think coming up here in a few, I'll probably get going a little further on those bends. I'm pretty serious about wanting to start some cuttings, and I think that'll be a worthwhile project. I hope you are having an awesome day out today. I hope wherever you are, the weather is nice and your trees are coming along the way you want them to. And yeah, we have just got ourselves a beautiful, beautiful Thursday, and Frida and I are just going to kick back and catch up on everybody's bonsai videos and see if we can't learn something else. And like and subscribe if you haven't already. Frida wants me to tell you that she appreciates you, and I appreciate you, and thank you for watching.